Hey, welcome to Film versus Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton Delane Facey.
And my name's Chris Scher.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and sent to another universe where your parents still don't love you by public opinion. And one of us tells you why it's actually pretty good.
And the other one's going to tell you why it's a steaming pile of shit.
And today we are discussing the mind-bending multiverse movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's a long title.
Yeah, it's a title that yells, okay, you're about to get into a lot, and you know, expectations were met. It was a lot. So getting into the plot, it opens on Chinese immigrant Evelyn Wong dealing with just a myriad of things in the same scene. The laundromat she owns where her husband is busy. They're trying to make an appointment at the IRS building for an audit. Her husband Wayman is trying to serve her divorce papers. Her father is visiting for Lunar New Year and is just demanding they basically got to take care of him. And her daughter Joy has a non-Chinese girlfriend she's struggling to accept, and Joy also wants to introduce her to Evelyn's father. It's just a lot for one scene.
Yeah, I'm just going to come out and say Joy's haircut at the end of the movie compared to her haircut at the beginning of the movie, night and day.
Do you mean her girlfriend's?
Her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. The girlfriend with the shaved side versus the hair trying to cover up the shaved side. Game changer.
Yeah. I mean, they also hinted at that because there's a part where it's like the girlfriend has tattoos on her forearms and Joy just rolls up her sleeves and be like, hey, cover those up.
Yep.
Like one step at a time. So they go to the IRS meeting. At the meeting, Wayman's body is suddenly taken over by Wayman from what the movie calls the Alpha universe. And he explains to Evelyn that in his universe, Alpha Evelyn created the verse jumping technology, allowing everyone for their minds to go into different universes, take over their bodies, and access different skills. Alpha Joy became the all-powerful being known as Jobu Tupaki, who can just see all universes at once and manipulate matter. After she was pushed by that universe's Evelyn to like verse jump a lot. I feel like there's no way to explain this movie succinctly without it just sounding like a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. They do uncomfortable. Okay, wait, no, we have to get to that later.
Yeah, no, but it's like it's one of those movies where it's like I know sometimes when I watch movies with my mom, she'll have to go. It's like, okay, explain what just happened, and I gotta pause and explain. I imagine if I watched this with my mom, I would be doing that a lot.
See, I watched it with my dad, and he just didn't even bother. He was just like, "This is all so fucking stupid, right? This is like the dumbest movie I've ever seen." And I was like, actually, I'm crying right now.
I'd be tempted to watch this with my mom if it just had a little fewer dildos and butt plugs.
That was where he walked out. He's like, I'm going to bed. I'm tired.
Which my mom does listen to this podcast. So, hi, Mom. Can't wait for you to text me about this later. But yeah, so at the IRS building, Jobu Tupaki and her goons show up, attack Evelyn. Alpha Wayman shows Evelyn how to verse jump, so she's able to access abilities from Evelyn from other universes that made different life choices. And so one of the major universes she sees is one where she did not go to America with Wayman, and she ended up becoming a famous martial artist and movie star. So after the first battle with Jobu Tupaki, her father's alpha version comes in, asks Evelyn to kill Joy so Tupaki can't access that universe, but Evelyn refuses, and so all the alpha goons come in to get Evelyn since they decide she can't be trusted. And so Evelyn starts verse jumping uncontrollably, splintering her mind like Jobu Tupaki. So then Jobu reveals she just really wants someone to understand her point of view, that once you can see everything, you understand life is pointless. She created this functionally black hole called the Everything Bagel, and she intends to use it to just truly die. She starts to go through, and Evelyn starts to share her sentiment of nihilism until Wayman convinces her to use empathy and kindness. She then uses this against all of Jobu's goons and pulls Jobu and Joy back. And in the end, they embrace as a happy family and file their taxes.
Yeah, I'd say that's about as close as you can get to explaining this movie.
Again, it's one of those movies where it's like, you can't elevator pitch this.
No. You just kind of need to see it. It's a stunning movie. It's like really well done. And it'll make you cry a lot, so long as you have had issues with your parents, which I don't want to meet someone who's never had an issue with their parents. What a creepy person.
Yeah. No, at the very least, they end up sounding like a weirdo.
Yeah. They're just like, yeah, I just remember all the happy family memories. And I'm a fully functional adult who doesn't have to go to therapy.
Yeah. It's like you have conversation about like the stuff you kept from your parents as like a middle schooler, and they're like, "Why would you keep stuff from your parents?" Anyway, this film was written and directed by Daniel Kwong and Daniel Schneider, who are a duo collectively known as the Daniels. Before this, they were best known for writing and directing the film Swiss Army Man, as well as directing the music video to Turn Down for What by Lil Jon.
That was a piece of culture.
Yeah.
You put them in the wrong fucking order, Belton. It should have been, you know them from the music video for Turn Down for What, and I guess maybe Swiss Army Man. I know we're even a film podcast, but I just think Lil Jon's Turn Down for What transcends that.
I feel like that does count as film and cinema. So they began researching ideas about the multiverse for this as early as 2010. So along the way, multiple multiverse popular media came out, and they have said like, oh, it was starting to get discouraging, a matter of like, oh, are we going to get scooped? Are we going to pitch this? And people are going to be like, oh, that sounds like a copy of that. Because in that time, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, as well as Rick and Morty season 2. And actually soon before they went into production, they were offered the opportunity to help develop the Marvel series Loki, which also dealt with multiverse and stuff, but they of course declined to make this film. So the film was originally written for Jackie Chan to star, and the rest of this bit, the only source I could find was a CNN interview with Michelle Yeoh, who played Evelyn. According to her, it was a combination of Jackie Chan being busy and the Daniels decided to shift to a female protagonist that led to him no longer being attached.
I think it had to be a female protagonist.
Yeah, I feel like it makes more sense. But apparently Jackie Chan just texted to Michelle Yeoh soon after the movie came out and started making money. It was just like, they wrote that for me. And like, that's just one of those things where like, why would you do that?
Okay, I'm also don't quote me on it. I think Jackie Chan had a lesbian daughter that he had a bad relationship with.
That sounds right. I do.
So maybe it would have worked fine with Jackie Chan. He would have been tapping into some.
It could have been something similar to how Marshawn Lynch talks about starring in Bombs, where it's just like it helped him heal from like initially not dealing with his sister coming out well.
Wait, sorry, okay. Yeah, he does have a lesbian daughter that he disowned. So. Maybe it would have worked with Jackie Chan.
I feel like for the marketing, he would have had to like reconcile with his daughter. It just would look bad if he did this whole movie and was like, yeah, I still don't talk to her. And so in August 2018, Michelle Yeoh and Awkwafina were announced as part of the cast. Awkwafina ended up dropping because of scheduling issues, so they cast Stephanie Hsu as Joe Tupaki instead.
Yeah, I think that worked.
Yeah.
I don't know if Awkwafina has the range. Well, didn't she do that movie about a Chinese American person?
Yeah, The Farewell. And like she won a Golden Globe for that. So
yeah,
like that's the proof she can act in serious movies.
Yeah, that's an unfair statement on my behalf. She could have done this role fine. But
Yeah.
I just thought Stephanie Sue did like an absolutely killer job.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a movie where it demands so much of every single cast member. Like, it's hard to imagine Aquafina there, just because I feel like she has The Farewell, but we don't have a slew of movies like The Farewell from her.
That's true.
So Kiwi Kwan, who play Wayman, he is best known for his roles as a child in the Goonies and the Indiana Jones movies. This was his first role since 2002. At that point, he was retired from acting, mostly because of the lack of roles for Asians in Hollywood. He decided to come back because after Crazy Rich Asians came out, he said, okay, there might be more opportunities for me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then he won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Which he deserved. I thought he was such a good role in that movie.
Mm.
You were saying that you don't know if he deserves it was more of a legacy Oscar?
Oh, no, I was saying that about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, who won it over Stephanie Hsu.
I think they should have just let Asian people clean up at the Oscars.
Yeah, all the photos, like the acting winners, is just 3 Asian people and then Brendan Fraser.
Oh, did he win Best Actor for The Whale that
Yeah.
year?
All right.
Good for him.
So the movie premiered at South by Southwest in March 11th, 2022. It came out to a limited release March 25th that year and wide release April 8th. It did release worldwide, except for much of the Middle East because of anti-LGBT censorship. And so one thing I found interesting, in different areas where there's a large Chinese-speaking population, they changed the title to fit it a lot. So, for example, in Taiwan, the title has a double meaning. I can't pronounce it in Taiwanese because I don't know how to read it.
He's lying. He actually does know how to read it. He said he just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, just have that clip because it's just like, oh, Belton's just making fun of Asians now.
He's actually very supportive in real life when talking, but as soon as he gets on a podcast, he's like, yeah, I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, but the title in Taiwanese translates roughly to either Mother's Multiverse or Fucking Multiverse. And then in mainland China, its title translates roughly to In an Instant, the Entire Universe. And its title in Hong Kong translates roughly to Weird Woman Warrior Fucks Around and Saves the Universe. Which, why was that not the title everywhere?
It wouldn't have done as well in America. And it's an objectively great title.
Yeah.
But it's a terrible marketing title.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that's a great title in whichever dialect they speak in Hong Kong. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might be Cantonese. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure it's like a great title, but Weird Woman Warrior Fucks Around and Saves the Universe sounds like an Ezeki title.
Yeah, it sounds like a Letterboxd review. Like, like it sounds like that's someone's like only thought walking out the movie, and it's like, all right, that's what that woman was. And like how I was struggling to like say the plot when a friend asked them what is that movie. They were just like, I don't know, weird warrior woman fucks around, saves the universe, I guess. And so on a budget of $25 million, it made $143.4 million worldwide, making it the highest ever grossing A24 movie. And it would go on to win 7 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, as well as 3 out of the 4 acting Oscars, including Jamie Lee Curtis for Best Supporting Actress over Stephanie Hsu, who played Jobu Tupaki in this movie, and Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which people are arguing, if you're going to give a legacy Oscar that year, Angela Bassett's right there.
I don't know Angela Bassett. The name sounds really familiar, but like I just can't picture a face to it. And I never saw the second Black Panther.
She was also in the first one.
Who was she in the first one?
She was Queen Ramonda.
So long ago, Belt. I saw that movie while I was in college, and I was really high.
All right. I mean, she was also in.
Is she like 40?
I believe she's in her 50s.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. And so the film currently stands at a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.8 on IMDb. Everyone kind of collectively agrees Jamie Lee Curtis winning the Oscar that year was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I probably would have given it to Stephanie Chu, but Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't bad in that role either.
No, she wasn't bad. It just feels weird when someone in your own movie who's also in a supporting role is like had to do so much more and absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then I believe soon after that, Stephanie Chu's audition tape and it came out, and everyone's just like, okay, yeah, she should have gotten that Oscar.
All right, on to the debate.
Yep. All right, so I will be defending this movie.
And I will be attacking from the point of view of my uncle who you avoid at Thanksgiving.
Everything Everywhere All at Once appears as a jumbled mess to some, but it turns that mess into a beautiful story about nihilism, generational trauma, and the power of positivity. Held together with great directing and performances, this is a testament to what great creative minds can do with the medium. If you think otherwise, that's a you problem. Extend your attention span.
My son dragged me to this movie during my court-ordered babysitting hours, and I can say without a doubt that it's the most disgraceful thing put on film since Shakespeare in Love. The Thin Red Line should have won. None of it made sense, and it made me feel so sad leaving the theaters.
I love the idea that someone came out. This is like, I have no idea what's going on, but I feel things.
My first point, couldn't figure out what was going on. What is the back in my day, we didn't have any fucking multiverse. You got the one universe and you're stuck with it. It's all you do, Belton. You're just stuck with it.
Yeah. So admittedly, the multiverse is like, especially the way it's portrayed in this film, a complex thing to use as a medium. And like, I feel like they do as much explaining as they can visually. Like they do try and make those scenes interesting. Like there's the one scene where Alpha Wayman has to explain, and then he's distracted by bagels with cream cheese because he's just like, we don't have dairy in my universe, and starts chugging that.
Yeah, Belton, I'm just I'm going to need you to tell me what they're explaining when the guy did a running leap and cleared 12 feet and landed asshole first onto a giant butt plug. Tell me which part of that wasn't weird and upsetting, okay?
I mean, the specific point of that is that it's weird and upsetting.
Yeah, well, it succeeded. I was weird and upset. I don't go to the movies to be weird and upset. I go to enjoy myself. I just wanted to take my son and babysit him, okay? I just wanted to babysit my son and go to the movies. I didn't want to watch men do Olympic leaps into butt plugs and fight like kung fu masters, Belton. I didn't sign up for that. No, I didn't. What kind of movie is this? Why did it make me feel so much?
I'm lost where to start with that one.
Okay, here's another point. This whole movie tries to sell you that she's a better parent by the end. Bullshit. She becomes a worse parent by having any concern for her kids' emotions.
I mean, I would say a main emotional driving point behind this is that she starts off with a very negative outlook on, like, you know, she's not happy in her marriage. She feels like her husband isn't pulling her way, and she feels like her daughter isn't where she should be in life. And I think that's where like her father comes in, because we see her father's pretty demanding, and even at her age, she's still trying to make her dad happy, which makes much more sense once you see the backstory of she left China to be with Wayman, and then her dad essentially abandoned her for years, and even when she tried to reach out. So it's like those expectations that were put on her that she didn't live up to are then passed down, hence generational trauma.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. My dad wanted me to get into lumber, but I got into gravel.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I feel like, yeah, but I think that's something that that's kind of like universal. A lot of people can relate to like whether or not you live up to your parents' expectations. I mean, as portrayed in the movie, it's especially common among like first gen kids, but I mean, that's also a central theme of Succession, which is about a bunch of white billionaire kids.
I like that show. That made sense.
I have to ask, who you think is the good guy in Succession?
None of them. They're all assholes. That's what I like about it. It's real.
Okay, we're at least on the same page there.
Is it a movie's job to make you to relate to emotions you don't want to feel anymore?
Okay, I'm curious how you're gonna react to my next statement. In that, like, a lot of this also involves the idea that Wayman is actually a portrayal of positive masculinity.
I'll take that. He's a happy guy.
All right, yes,
He's a good provider.
Yeah, and I guess to elaborate on that, at the beginning of the movie, it kind of portrays him as submissive, because that's how at that point Evelyn sees him, because she feels he dragged her across the world to just run this failing laundry mat. He's not pulling his weight. He's not doing the taxes. He's just like nice to customers and puts googly eyes everywhere. And when Alpha Wayman comes in, he is everything Evelyn wants out of Wayman. He's strong, assertive. We can even see like she is more attracted to him. But he also just abandons her at the drop of a dime. Like the first time she fails to verse jump, he's just like, "All right, you're not the one. Bye."
I thought he was charging her up. You ever tell your kid that they're a disappointment just so they'll try harder?
I mean, I'm sure they try harder in that moment. How hard do they try as an adult to contact you?
It's hard to get it. It's hard to reach them. My adult kids haven't talked to me in like 10 years. I had to have more kids just to have people to talk to.
How old are your kids?
7, 10, and 11.
But yeah, I mean, so like Alpha Wayman abandons her, constantly tells her how much of a failure she is, and then through the other universes, she's able to fantasize about a world where she never married Wayman, and in those universes, she's much better off. But in the end, it's Wayman's positivity that perseveres and brings everyone closer, and helps her realize, all right, maybe it's not my world that's wrong, but it's my outlook. Because especially the universe where she's a mega movie star, Wayman's a successful businessman. In the end, they're still yearning for each other, and that's a universe where Wayman doesn't have as much positivity surrounding them. because at some point he says like, "Don't come to me unless you're serious, because I can't be heartbroken again."
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I thought Wayman was a good character. I liked him as Round Top. I liked him as Wayman. From way back in the day.
You mean Short Round?
Short Round, that's his name. Round Top, Short Round. I got the round part of it.
That sounds like if Short Round was in like a child boy band. That's the second member. Short Round, round top, top bottom.
How'd you keep track of what's going on? How'd you do it? I was watching this movie. I was crying so much I couldn't see what was happening. I've never had a reaction like a movie to this before.
So I will say, like, the thing about this script and this concept, like, it had to be so carefully edited, because I feel like it would be super easy to get lost in it. So honestly, a lot of times when they're jumping through universes, it does go very very fast. It mainly relies on like just the actors matching every frame, so you can kind of see what they're doing. But I feel like the main universe that we come in on, they use that to tie it together. When there are slow moments that we're supposed to feel it, we stay on that universe more. We just cut to the other universes to see them play out on that the central theme and message happening at the same time.
I've got a question for you. Did she actually punch the IRS agent, or was that a multiverse?
She did actually punch the IRS agent. I believe the way they portrayed it in the movie, it appeared that the IRS agent was taken over by her version that followed Jobu Tupaki, and but by the time she actually punched, it was the real IRS agent.
Doesn't seem very realistic. Getting away with punching a government employee?
I mean, they send security after them. If it weren't for Alpha Wayman, they would be in jail.
Belton, what would happen to me if I punched an IRS agent into the face right after I had a meeting where they learned my full name, the location of my home? They'd come down and they'd shoot me. That's what would happen.
I mean, you would go to jail. For sure. Your IRS audit would not go well.
No, it would not. Like my first one did, and my second one, and my third one. They took everything. I had to get back into gravel just to make back my whole fortune.
I feel like your business must have been going like somewhat well for that to happen. Either somewhat well or terribly. I feel like there's no in between with IRS audits.
I stole 9,000 tons of gravel. I was $10 million in the hole. I bet all that gravel in Vegas. They're like, "Sir, you can't just throw gravel on the table. You have to sell the gravel, then bet the money."
You probably would have been better not going to Vegas. You can like bet on sports in your pocket now.
They were transporting all that gravel from South Carolina to Vegas was so expensive, Belton. I had to use tax fraud to write it. I'm getting audited again. You know, I came out of that movie so angry, and you wouldn't believe it. I'm having a hard time coming up with negative things about it.
All right, so I guess let's jump to like Joy / Jobu Tupaki's character, because I think this is where like the large play on generational trauma comes in, because Jobu Tupaki, she was created because that universe's Evelyn pushed her too hard, and I feel like the movie doesn't gloss that over, but doesn't discuss it as much, because they just use it to draw a parallel to Evelyn pushing Joy too hard and having these expectations on her, because there are also allusions in the movie to Joy having some form of depression that is not addressed at all.
Yeah, even I could tell that she was pretty dang depressed. I think she might have been trying to kill herself. I like the Jobu Tabaki person at the beginning. She didn't take shit. She just went around kicking ass, and then she got a little too into her feelings.
I mean, you could say she had a lot of feelings. She had feelings everywhere all at once. I try in my head to work everything in there, but I was like, that grammatically does not make sense. She feels everything everywhere all at once. There we go.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and so I feel like that's also where pacing comes in, because to me, like, one of the hardest hitting emotional beats comes at the end, as Evelyn in one universe is trying to convince Jobu Tapaki to not go into the everything bagel into nothingness. That's when Evelyn and Joy in another universe have like the big confrontation of like Evelyn's trying to do better, but for Joy it's just too late and she wants to distance herself. And it's like, it's something where it's like I fully understand Joy's point of view, but for Evelyn, it's like she's finally realizing how to live life, but it's just it's something where it's like you can't just suddenly come into it too late. You have years of your relationship before this to make up for.
Yeah, I just need to comment that was such a good scene. Like, that movie, the first time I watched it, the beginning fucked me up, but then now as I'm more mature, the ending just like really got to me, of just watching a parent deal with the trauma that they caused on their kid and kind of realizing it. Yeah, that was a really good scene.
Yeah, because that was also one of those moments where I remember the first time I saw it in theaters. It was a lot of universe jumping, kind of how they did. Kind of how they did before, where it's just like in all the universes, like everything's coming together. It's running towards like a beautiful moment, and then we just stop when Joy says no, and we just stay there for a few minutes, and it's like that, and so that just made it feel extra serious.
You know what I kind of missed at the beginning of the movie is just how conflicted Evelyn was when she sent Joy off saying you need to eat healthier. Like, I remember when I first saw the movie, I thought that she was just kind of like slipping in and she kind of accepted that groove, but she was really challenging. She felt shitty about what she said from the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if I'm becoming a more empathetic person.
I mean, it's a matter of like, because Joyce says in the very first scene to her girlfriend, she's like, "Yeah, if she criticizes you, that's how you know she loves you," and that comes back around at the end when Evelyn's like, "You need to get a new haircut."
First time Evelyn was wrong all movie. Yeah. Look, I may be a simple man myself, but that was a badass haircut.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the generational trauma thing of like, that's how Evelyn received love, so that's how she knows how like give love to her own daughter, instead of saying I love you. It's like these critiques that's like, in the moment, I think Evelyn wanted to like show she cared, so it's like, all right, this is how you get better. And because I remember when Shang-Chi came out, spoiler alert for Shang-Chi, but towards the end, when his father is about to die, and he just silently transfers the rings over. I saw someone say like, yeah, that's exactly how a Chinese immigrant father would do it. He wouldn't say I love you. He would just do stuff that makes your life better.
Huh. Yeah. That is pretty old school. That's why that's why I need things to leave to my kids. So they know I actually love them.
Anything not taking the IRS audit.
Yeah. Are we getting into 3 things? I don't know what this voice I'm doing. I like can't decide if I'm gonna like role play or
we can get into
a little more.
I was just gonna comment on like it uses the visual motifs really well. I already mentioned how it cuts together all the different universes in sequences, and then it uses those pauses in certain universes to really pace the film so you don't get too lost. But the other one is obviously the everything bagel, which they do a good job portraying circles everywhere. I especially like the opening shot where in the circular mirror you see Evelyn, Joy, and Wayman just doing karaoke as a family, enjoying each other's company. I really like that because it establishes the motif of the circle, but also it uses it as a portal, so it feels like you're looking into another universe where they're super happy, and then it cuts to the universe we're in where Evelyn's working on taxes.
Yeah. I like the circle. I realized it when I was rewatching it this morning. The IRS lady, the circle that she goes around is the karaoke machine, which ties Evelyn both to her dreams as a singer and also back to China. So the central mass of her issues and her emotional stunting goes back to her original dreams.
Oh yes, yeah, because I mean the movie does say like that Evelyn has the most untapped potential, because essentially she just made a lot of decisions where she left a lot of dreams unfulfilled. And I will say, like, I know at the beginning it's like part of her character arc that she blames Wayman for a lot of things. I feel like from that Wayman's point of view, it's just gotta be frustrating because he files divorce papers not because he really wants to divorce her, but because like he thinks that's the only way to get her to actually sit down and talk about their marriage. At the IRS audit, like I don't think he went through everything, because when the woman's like, why you need a karaoke machine, he's got to be thinking, it's just like, why did she put this bullshit in there? And he's the one to come in and save the day by being nice to her. And like he brought the cookies for her, and Evelyn's like, why'd you bring cookies? She's trying to take our business. Well, again, his kindness wins in the end. And I think they do a good job establishing a clear visual for his kindness with the googly eyes that come in and out throughout the movie. Because like he puts it everywhere in the laundromat just to like bring a bit of joy and whimsy. But then that becomes the film's visual cue for his kindness. So, you know, in the end, Evelyn just literally showers Jobu Tupaki and all her goons with googly eyes because that's how she's fighting them back.
Yeah. 3 things.
Yep. All right. So now it's time for our concessions. This is where I give 3 things movie could have done better, and Chris gives 3 things she liked.
This was a hard list to put together. The fighting was badass. And put another way, the choreography was like, that's what kept me, that's why I didn't walk out. They did it was a fucking take all the multiverse nonsense and all the feelies out of it, and you just have a really sick fighting movie.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely did a good job. I think it especially helped that both Michelle Yeoh and Kiwi Kwan can do their own choreography and stunts. Michelle Yeoh, I believe she hasn't had like formal martial arts training. She's just athletic and limber enough where she can do a whole lot of choreography. Of course, one of her big roles before this was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And Kiwi Kwan actually worked as a stunt coordinator for a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they can both do their stunts and hold their own, which I feel like as a filmmaker helps because you don't have to worry about covering up a stunt double or pulling off a Texas switch.
Yeah.
My first concession. Sometimes info dumps were just info dumps. Like I understand it's a lot of information, but like sometimes they really just have two characters sit there and explain the whole thing because like, and their only purpose is just to inform the other character.
And if they don't do it, that movie makes even less sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it's necessary, but it's also
yeah. Because I mean, like I think of a classic way to do an info dump was of Terminator 2, where as the Terminators just explain stuff to John Connor, it's in the middle of a chase scene, so you at least have fun action to turn to in between.
Yeah. I was a big fan of the hot dog lesbians. At first, I was insulted and disgusted, and then as time went on and I started thinking about the hot dog lesbians, like on the hour of the past 4 days, I'm a big fan. I think other media needs to be a little more brave and incorporate more hot dog handed lesbians into their media.
Yeah, that's funny because my next one is the film maybe overindulges in some of the other universes because a lot of the other universes are introduced like Family Guy cutaway gags, like the hot dog universe. Like it's funny in the moment because like everyone's looking for ways to fight, and she comes across a universe where her hands are useless, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is a universe where like human ancestors were just killed off by these hot dog ancestors, but they keep it a running story throughout the film, and they do this with a lot of them, like Rakakuni and
oh my god, Rakakuni was so
yeah, and it's something where it's like for a movie that is going to be inherently confusing, like maybe cut a couple of them, build up the universe we're supposed to be in a lot more. That way we don't have to spend the entire thing in IRS building.
Yeah. It made me miss my wife in a nice way. I hadn't thought about my ex-wife in a long time. And then I saw this movie and I thought of her, and it wasn't an angry thought. And I just don't know how to handle this.
So would you rather be doing laundry and taxes with her now?
I can't even answer that question.
Why? Because you don't love her that much, or you just hate taxes that much?
I just like can't even think of having that much intimacy with another person.
That is true. You see someone's taxes, you essentially see their life. My last one, Jamie Lee Curtis won an Oscar for this. If we're going by performance, should have gone Stephanie Hsu. If we're going by legacy, Angela Bassett's right there.
Gotcha. Closing statements?
Yeah. The Daniels managed to strike gold in their constant crusade to be unapologetically weird while staying skillful and character driven. This is the kind of film that should be studied by film nerds for decades.
I didn't like this movie. It made me feel things I don't like to feel. All my regrets weigh me down every day, and leaving the theater, I felt like I was going to collapse. 1 out of 10 phone calls to my kids that they actually answer. That's what I give this movie. Okay, just a little disclaimer. I love this movie. It's like my favorite. I've cried every single time I watched it. If that wasn't clear, I just didn't want anyone to think that I had such a low class that I actually thought this was a bad movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, before his episode, it's like I read some Letterboxd reviews. I specifically looked at like 2 and 1 star reviews, and it's like that's the thing about Letterboxd. If you see a movie and just look at the reviews that disagree with you, you're gonna come across some that make you go, "Did we watch the same movie?" Because I came across one that called it like Marvel style humor, which I'm like, no, I wouldn't say that. Also, like, I do find it funny when people say Marvel style humor as an insult, because people forget like early Marvel used those quips extremely well. The problem is like as the franchise went on, they came to rely heavily on those.
Yeah, and it's just like we've seen 40 fucking quippy movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was like a good refresh of the quippiness. I think each series they had has their own brand of quips, but like I think they've hit their limit.
Yeah, but I think Guardians of the Galaxy is done in a way where the comedy makes sense for the characters, but in something like, say, Doctor Strange, I don't think the quippiness works as well. He's much more serious of a character.
Yeah, well, he gets sarcastic.
Yeah, he gets sarcastic, but he's still like not someone where it's like in the middle of a battle, he's not going to give like a quick one-liner.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Film versus Movie. If you like this, please rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening on. I'm Belton's Lane Facey.
And I'm Chris Scher.
And we will see you next time.
Thank you.